Ross.
Yes?
We have a problem.
What?
We never saw the intro to the podcast.
What do you want me to do about it?
I don't know. What are we going to do about it?
I mean...
Where'd he go?
Oh, I was going to buy something.
There he is.
If you want to learn something today, if you want to learn something about some bass puzzle, grass piece flexes, or maybe, just maybe, the Raid Japan 2-way that we're just putting out back in stock here.
See, everyone's been asking why we've been holding off on this podcast, and what the real reason is because we were waiting for the Raid 2-ways to get back in stock, because once you see this juice,
It's all
you're going to
here.
want them. So
It's all here.
Stay tuned for the next 50 minutes of podcasting.
It's all here.
Ooh, hey look, rains.
No secrets.
Cha-cha. We're going to have to do more of these so we can expand the budget.
That won't be possible.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry to say.
We can't make more of these?
No, this is the last one.
We're never doing this again?
We're going to do it probably tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
So then we can expand the budget?
Welcome.
To what? Wait, this isn't the office?
Where are we?
Well, I think we should describe it as Ross's Vikings Cave.
The Skull Cave.
Yeah.
The Skull Cave,
Willy
Yeah.
had a good name for it, though.
The tackle dungeon.
The Tackle Dungeon.
which is ironic because it's not the type of tackle they usually talk about, but it is the type of tackle we're going to talk about today. What is this show about?
What's the word at Waypoint? Volume 2, episode... Wait, Volume 1, Episode 2? Is that how it works?
Yes.
Volume 1,
Volumes is like
big
a
picture.
collection,
like seasons.
and episodes are obviously each chapter within a collection.
What's the word at Waypoint? Volume 1, Episode 2, Rigging Tactics. Rigging Tactics with Ricky.
Wow, weird.
Yep.
Giving away secrets quick on this show.
Rigging Tactics with Ricky.
Which logically means we're going to start with you, right?
Yeah, we're going to start with whoever wants to start, but today we wanted to feature a bunch of stuff that when everybody comes in the store and whether it's a new item or an item they haven't seen before or an item that they haven't grasped how we're rigging something, we're going to show rigging tactics. How we rig something, a different way to rig something, some secret ways to rig stuff that I haven't seen. That's what it's all about today. So,
All right,
I
cool.
like it.
What do we want to start with?
you know, Wilfred told me he had a cool way to rig the Raid 2-way.
Oh,
And it's just been eating at me on the 2.5 minute drive over here. I think we have to start with that because the 2-way from Raid Japan comes in a varieties of sizes, anything from little 2-way to 2-way. It's got big 2-way and even a Magnum 2-way, which is kind of a Yamamoto Senko size. Wilfred, I know, is a big fan of the original size 2-way, and it's pretty obvious to know why they called it a 2-way because it can become 2 baits in one. It's got a little joint in the middle of it there, tons of flanges, tons of action, and you can actually, because of that joint, you can rip them in half, and all of a sudden, one bait becomes 2. And there's a variety of ways to rig this bait by itself, or when you rip it in half. And Wilfred's been kind of the master of the Raid 2-way, so I want to know what's your secret rigging method to the Raid 2-way, because 9 times out of the 10, I'm rigging this wacky on a drop shot and throwing it out there. And that's how I have had a lot of success on this bait for both largemouth and smallmouth on a drop shot. But I'm curious to know what you've been doing with it.
Yeah, so there's a couple different things that I like doing with it. On the bigger sized,
The big 2-way?
the big 2-way or the Magnum 2-way, I'll cut it in half, and then I'll just thread it onto a Ned. For that application, I like using the floating.
Yeah, like this is the floating model. You can kind of tell because the plastic gets a lot less transparent.
Yep.
yeah.
So then it stands up. And you can rig it like with the fatter side up top, bottom. I've caught fish on both of them.
That one's been chewed up.
That one's been caught a couple with it though. So
Well,
just that's one of the ways that I like to rig it.
I'll shoot.
Just standard on a Ned rig, huh?
Yeah, just straight up. I mean, if they're eating the like a turd or something,
Yep.
but I mean, it's just a little more flash tentacles to get them to commit.
But you like the floater, obviously, because that allows it to stand up straight.
Yep, and I almost like the floater. Another thing that I'll do is on a drop shot with the Magnum one.
Just half of it?
Yeah, just cut it in half and then thread it. Wow, my stomach's growling.
Willy's hungry.
I'll thread it.
Tackle talks making him hungry. I got donuts in the car.
I'm good. On just a drop shot hook. And I like the floating one for that because then it really sits horizontal. But one thing this is kind of the sneaky one that I've been doing. So I got the regular size 2-way here. I've got a 1/32 ounce nail.
Yep.
I'll take it and I'll shove a 1/32 ounce nail on each side.
Huh?
So this is the floating model, but I'm adding 2 30-seconds of weight.
One on each side.
One on each side, like
I've been waiting for a bait to where I've always thought of a bait like, what's a bait where you could actually shove a Nico weight on each side of the bait, and where would that be effective? Because I've never.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've always wanted to do it, but I've never done it. This excites me.
Yeah, and I mean,
You never done that before?
No.
Really?
No, not effectively.
you need to talk to John Cox. He does it all the time. Yeah, John Cox, if you haven't seen any videos of John Cox back in the day, or over the last, 4 years, he does it with, a max scent general. But I think he trims one of the ends so that, they're both squared off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I like this because it's symmetrical.
Yeah, so you got the floating material, but you got 1/32
So it...
or
On each
2
side.
30-second.
Yeah.
And then I'll take a Nico hack, put it through, the small size Nico hack, put it through the middle. And then I actually stroll this. So I keep it above them. I mean, I've caught them when you just throw it out there, let it drop down, but...
So you're throwing this out there, Nico hack in the middle, and shaking it back to the boat?
Shallow water, 10 feet or less.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It gets bit.
Largemouth, smallmouth, what's...
More smallmouth, but I mean, I don't know why a largemouth. I just upsize. That's just the regular size 2-way. I'd go the big or the Magnum.
Well, I imagine when you're shaking it back, it's
yeah,
flapping, flying all over like that, huh?
We legit might have to go back and shoot tank video of this rig after this.
Yeah.
I mean,
recording. If you're watching this and there's tank video either following this or while we're talking about this, we went back and shot it.
Is there, what was I going to ask? God, I had a question about it. That's just crazy. I never would have thought to rig it that way.
Yeah, and you can, so
I wouldn't have thought to rig it.
Right now, I just got it rigged, no Nico hack or anything. But they're going to kind of, when you're swimming it, they're going to kind of go like this with the flat side up. I've messed around with changing the hook placement, and then you got more of the bulbous side on the bottom. I mean, this will catch more water when you're bringing it, swimming it through. I mean, there's just so many. I really like this. I call it the bow tie because it just kind of looks like a bow tie, but I've caught a lot of fish on this, and it's just super versatile. So that's a little trick with the 2-way that I got.
Cool. 5 minutes in, we already learned something.
Yeah, I'm kind of speechless right now. My mind's blown.
You need a second?
Yeah, I need a second.
All right.
So you do your thing, because I don't have to wrap my head around this right now.
1 through 4, Willy, go.
I do have a question on that.
Yeah.
What kind of rod are you throwing that on?
Matter? Nah, it does. Just your spin. I usually fish it for smallmouth, so spinning 852, 842, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Medium.
Noted.
Nothing crazy.
Boy, do I have some plans for that, in the words of Dwayne Bone.
Dwayne's going to be listening to this for sure.
Dwayne's going to...
He's going to be mad we're giving away secrets again, but that's all right.
All right, we'll try to get some tank footage of that.
Willy, 1 through 4?
2.
2. busting out the frogs right away.
Yep.
Let's talk about some frog hacks. Alright, so first thing I do before I even ever take a frog out of the package, most of my frogs sit in my hot car for the summer.
Yes, they do. I've seen your hot car. It's full of frogs.
It's full of them. So I'll like take the package and pull the package off of the frog and not touch it and just leave it in the car. This one is fresh off the shelf. It has not gone through that chemical changing process. And for those of you who don't know, it's making the plastic softer.
Wait.
What?
Wait.
What?
You're telling me you leave them in your car on purpose?
Yeah, you thought I just did that?
I thought you just had nowhere to like put them or something. Wait. You're saying you put the first rigging tackle hack on a frog is to leave it in your hot car?
Yes.
Oh my god, dude.
I'm thinking 6 steps ahead of you, dude. Like, everyone else is like, oh, I'm going to buy a frog off the shelf. I'm like, I'm going to buy a frog off the shelf in January. And then come May, I'm going to stick it in the, like, front windowsill of my car. And you guys have noticed, I back into the shop at, like, parking spots.
Oh, is that why?
Because it gets shade less of the time. So,
Okay.
like, front windowsill has crankbaits that are chartreuse that are getting faded right now.
Oh.
It has a glide bait that I'm trying to dull the color on it, so it's getting sun fade on it. It's got jigs that are just marinating because, like, you never know when you're going to want to just pull a jig off your dashboard and go fish with it.
So, like,
and then those are all on
the
that.
G-Crack scent that we have coming, the Bass Energy, we've had this SAF stuff in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you could leave marinating on the hood of your car?
Maybe in like a bag of plastics.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it on like a frog because
but,
it won't
like,
soak it up. But yeah.
So I should leave my plastics just on the hood of my car and
As
let them
long
heat up?
as they don't get too
As long as
hot.
it's not like a
and-
Z-Man formula?
Yeah, you gotta be careful too because if it gets too hot, they'll melt.
Yeah.
This is a durable enough plastic
Oh,
that it
gotcha.
won't melt.
I have never...
You never done that?
I've never cooked items in my car before.
Some people put them in like boiling water, and
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I think boiling water is too aggressive. I
Too
mean,
soft then, or what?
You can screw up what level of softness.
Yeah.
Like you can pull this off the dashboard and go, okay.
Has this one been marinated yet?
No, this one's right off the shelf.
Yeah,
so
'cause-
you notice Spros are super, super, super durable.
Yep.
And we love that, but they are. This one's not so bad,
No.
but there are some that I've had. Like, it depends on the color too. Like the black ones, way stiffer. These yellow and the light ones come with a slightly softer plastic, it seems like. They'll tell you it's the same, but I know it's not the same because they're not even the same finish. This is a matte finish. Those black ones, you've seen them, they're shiny.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it is the same plastic, it's not the same, like, feel. Okay, so...
I think we need to stop.
Stop? We haven't even gotten to, like, half the rigging tips.
Oh my god.
Alright,
Okay, keep going.
I'm gonna go ahead and bend these hooks out a little bit. Gotta be
Okay.
careful. So that one is bent a little tiny bit. Didn't do much. Usually I take a second pliers and bend it out. But what you gotta do is obviously the tongue of the hook goes this way. Now why would you bend out hooks, guys?
I don't know.
Well, because if you look at... I already did it, so... This one
Yep.
lays more
It's like
perpendicular with
going
the frog.
into the plastic of the frog almost.
Alright,
Yeah.
alright. I already bent this one. Do you notice how even though it's only a couple degrees, it's
Yep.
kicking up straight up more?
Yep.
So, this is going to go with my second hack, or my third hack, because this is technically my second hack, but...
So bending them up.
Yep, you're trying to get the angle of that hook to be up more when they eat it. So, I don't know, we'll do another close-up. I'm not going to bend the second one so you can see what they both look like.
So you do that for hookup ratio?
Hookup ratio, and I'll explain it more when I get to my next hack.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not going to bend the other one. Normally I'd bend both of them, but I want to be able to, afterwards when we do this, to show, okay, this one's not bent, this one's bent. But there's also a little separation there. You can see it changes the makeup. Alright, so we had that state tournament at Leech in 2023. And on day one, I drew a guy named Kenny Schofield. Shout out to Kenny. You're cool. We love you. Appreciate all that you do as a fisherman, specifically that day when we went fishing and caught bass. But also, I fished with Kenny multiple times. He's a good dude. So, what I just did is I pulled out a glass rattler from Arsenal Fishing. This is their Viper rattler. I pick size medium. Larges will work. Smalls will work. The extra small is a little too small. Sometimes I'll get one bead and put it in here. Sometimes I'll put two. There's a couple reasons I choose glass beads though. Some people glass rattles, not beads, because everyone's heard of putting glass beads in here, and I do have beads for a different part, but the rattle is a little bit higher pitched noise, and it does a couple things. So obviously it makes noise, so it attracts fish. I flipped this, by the way, so here's it flipped upside down. And you take your bead, and we'll do a close-up of this later, but I'm going to slide it in behind rattle. Slide it in behind the hook. Just going to take a second. So I showed this to Kenny at Leech because we were fishing, and I had the exact same color frog on as him, but I was getting bit more. And it does two things. One, if you add enough of these, it makes that noise. But you had 2 or 3 of these, and you just added so much weight to your frog that you can cast it further. So I can take and I can throw what is already a very far flinging frog and throw it another 15, 20, I've seen it go another 30, 40 feet off the end of your cast. I mean, I was fishing with Blake Smith at the Open this year, and I was out casting him because I had rattles and beads in my frog, and he was like, how are you getting it to cast that far? We're both throwing Spro frogs, and I showed him at the end of the day, and he's like, oh, that makes a ton of sense. So that hack is not like, if you've read any Bassmaster, it's on there, but I'll put 2 or 3 beads in here, make it rattle a lot more than this, and then once you're done, you flip it back over and set it in there.
Do they ever affect the like, is it ever too heavy to where the frog starts like sinking?
I've never put enough in there to do that. I think you have to put like 4 or 5 in there, and then at that point you're going to affect this part of it because you got too many in there. That's another reason I picked the medium over the larges, because
they're going to be breaking glass when they bite it.
They might be. They do crush it. So there's a time specifically when I like to do this, and it's when we're mat fishing, Cross, Leech, places like that. Because you're trying to call them up and get them to eat a little bit denser, heavier frog, and it's going to push more ripples on the mat.
Well, a lot of times you're fishing mats that other guys have already fished, and you're just like, I know I'm not going to get a bite here because it's been fished 50 times, but I imagine if you're throwing one with a little bit of sound and a little bit of difference, I could see that working really well.
So I'll add 3 beads-ish, maybe 4, depending on the size of the rattles and beads I'm using if I'm fishing a mat. Now, if I'm fishing like reeds or rice, I won't add so much. I'll add 1, maybe 2. But then I'll also rig it with either a bead out of the front to get around reeds, or if it's kind of a combination of a bunch of different vegetation, I'll use the decoy eye guard. You can find these.
You told me about frogging with the eye guard.
Yeah, it's super good.
What situation are you putting that? Always, or is there a certain thing you're fishing around that you're putting it on for?
I definitely notice that it doesn't really matter in some situations. Like if I'm skipping docks with a frog, it's not going to make a difference.
Right.
But if I'm throwing it around lily pads or rice, it kind of makes a difference. Some guys really like it.
Did you say pencil reeds?
But pencil reeds,
that's what it was.
Pencil reeds, I like the eye guard, but I would also say that the bead is a better move at times, depending on if there's vegetation mixed in. If it's straight pencil reeds, you want the bead because it's going to bounce off the pencil reeds better.
That's what it was.
And if it's a mix, then I go with the eye guard because it's not going to get gummed up on the scum.
You told me about the bead this summer, and I didn't listen to you, and I was getting hung up on every pencil reed, and then I got mad and left.
What did we learn?
We learned to listen to Eric.
Most of the time, yes. So that's what I've got for frog tips and hacks. We'll do close-ups like I said, but that's gonna make your frog hook up better. What I was talking about in tandem with my adding the weight is it's gonna settle towards the back of the frog, because when you cast it, it's gonna fling there, and when it lands, it's gonna land like that. That's gonna tip it more like this, which means that you're gonna get more pronounced angle on your hook when you bend it out. So instead of it being like this and having like a flat piece, if I do it like that, if I bend it out and add more weight, it's going to sit like that. When they bite it, it's going to drive the hook right into the roof of their mouth. I know I've set up a frog right when they get the whole thing and it's roofed. Mm-hmm. If you start hooking them in the side or something,
top dead center.
Yeah, if it's top dead center, you got your frog rigged right. You're still gonna miss fish. That's just the way it is. But
so arsenal rattles.
Yep.
Decoy eye guard. And decoy kachi beads.
Yes.
All very simple, but all extremely effective.
Yes.
And the sun.
And the sun.
You just
come stock up on frogs at Waypoint right now.
And you know
we have a lot of them, and you have 4 to 6 months to start marinating them to proper
Now,
temps.
if they want you to marinate them, is that something you'll do free of charge?
Not free of charge. I'm going to have to charge for that. I mean, there's only so much space on my dashboard.
Yeah, the marination.
Like,
you have to,
it's like storing
marination station.
You're going to have to rent out your marination station.
You know what I should do is I should invest in like UV lights or something and a heat lamp and just marinate all kinds of frogs for people. Yeah. And then you can buy pre-marinated frogs for me. Don't go stealing that idea now.
Yeah. What do you got for us, Ross?
I
know you got something good.
Just a couple simple things.
Okay, I like it.
And it's not...
Simple's good.
Not so much sneaky. It's just... These are the top 2 items in the store that people come in because they see our posts and our videos and our promotions. And the number one question I get about these 2 items is, how do you rig that? What do I need to rig that up properly and get bites? So number 1 selling bait, I think we can all agree in the whole store, is the G-Crack Bellows Gill, specifically in the 3.8 inch. They got a bunch of really nice colors for wherever you're fishing, a bunch of really nice green pumpkins, and this is AJ's Spicy Avocado, which has got the purple on the back. That's probably our number 1 selling color. How do you rig it? It's easy. You grab yourself a 4/0 spring lock hook. We like them weighted in either the 16th ounce, and that allows you to skip docks real nice. Fish shallow, twitch it back to the boat like a jerk bait. We're also using the 1/8 ounce, and that is going to be more, we're throwing that thing a little bit deeper, maybe over the tops of weeds. Kylie that works for us, he actually will throw the 1/8 ounce and drag it on the bottom on the rocks, I found out, letting it kind of hover on the way down. So I think 4/0, 16th and 1/8 is all you really need to rig that properly. Rig it on there, rig it straight, and you can see what that tail does. And you can twitch it back like a jerk bait, throw it deep, skip docks. I mean, there's no end to what you can do with this thing. One extra little thing I like to do, if I can grab it here.
Now we're coming.
This obviously isn't the proper way, because you're gonna have to rig it up on your. So you're gonna string the skirt on your line. This is a untamed tackle skirt. String it on your line, then tie your hook on, and then you're gonna string it back down onto the bait. But same as the kind of that cover scat rigging method. Put a skirt on before your G-Crack Bellows Gill. Same thing, flutters on the way down.
I think I've seen you throw in a jig like once, but I've seen you throw skirts on so many different
I'm not
things.
much of a jig fisherman, but I love putting skirts on items that you wouldn't normally put a skirt on. And the untamed tackle skirt is a little more, it's real fine, a little more dancey. So I really like the untamed tackle skirt. They got a bunch of different colors. So throw your Bellows Gill, but try adding a skirt. That's going to definitely lead to more bites.
Cool.
The next one, we've got a shipment here, and we've got a shipment coming on the way in just a couple of days. This is airing on Friday, so we'll have some probably by the time this airs. But Japan's hottest selling bait, I think without question, is the bladed jigs from Bass Puzzle. We've got both the original Bass Puzzle grass piece, 3/8 half ounce, shallow cover, dock skipping chatterbait, kind of a hybrid between a spinnerbait and a chatterbait.
Yeah, that short arm makes it really good for skipping.
And we just received the brand new grass piece Flex, which has a blade or a wire that
It's more like a spinnerbait wire
So to
on a
articulate.
hinge.
flexes. Look at that.
On a hinge.
On a hinge. And what that does
Not to be confused with the Jimmy hinge, which we'll get to.
in the 5/8 ounce variety, you're going to be bottom dwelling, fishing weed lines, fishing over the tops of deep weeds, slow reeling, letting it kill and keep that vibration going, picking it back up. This is more kind of your deep water variation, shallow. So we've got two different variations here, and you can, in Japan, a lot of times what they're doing is actually fishing this with no trailer, which isn't really a common practice over here in the U.S.
It's strange.
In this one, they actually added a weed guard on the front of it too.
And can we talk about what this bait excels at?
I would say,
Other than just like your normal chatterbait.
it's different from a chatterbait because it stays true at all times,
Yeah.
up and down, straight up and down. It probably is the most immediate response when you start reeling.
Yeah.
I found it starts vibrating the second you pick up the line.
Mm-hmm.
And when you kill it, it keeps going. And a lot of times if I'm reeling in and kill it, that'll trigger a bite.
Right.
Because it's just like that fleeing fish is dying. But trailers with this bait, you got to be a little bit selective with.
Okay.
I really only in certain scenarios am I throwing a paddle tail minnow on the back.
And even then, it's like a finesse or
Even
like
then,
a Kai-Tech. Or like the
I
Arsenal.
really like
is
the Arsenal
not Kai-Tech.
I like the Arsenal tactical minnow. I found it fits real nice on the back, but the way it's designed, it works with the kind of the tight and super vibraty wiggle that this bait has. Fits on the hook real nice. You don't have to even bite any of it off. I think that's my number one paddle tail trailer for
It's
the.
not even. I mean, it is a
for the
paddle
grass
tail,
piece.
but it's really not a paddle
Yeah.
tail. That thing. And Dan will even tell you this. Dan from Arsenal will say it's just a dancing
It's a
tail.
really good chatterbait trailer.
Most paddle tails got that wobble.
Yeah.
This one literally is going in every direction you could
Yeah.
possibly get it to go.
You can rig it upside down. You can rig it.
Yeah, you tear it up.
Doesn't
you
matter
turn
which
it upside
doesn't matter which
down.
way you throw it. I think this is my number one bass puzzle.
Trailer.
Either variation.
bladed
I
jig
think
trailer.
that's my number one for the grass piece that works with it nicely. Otherwise, you can opt for just your regular straight tail.
The spike. The spike.
Obviously, you can go with a depth Sakamata shad. That's a green pumpkin chartreuse that goes on the back real nicely. One that's never really talked about. G-Crack Revival shad. Look at all that juice.
That's a sneaky sculpin bait too. Yeah, I said it.
That goes really nicely on the back of a grass piece. That little finessey tail you get on the back there. Really good trailer. I would highly recommend that because it's not one that a bunch of guys are really throwing.
God, that stuff smells good.
Oh, just packed full of G-Crack sent you. That really
G-Crack.
helps.
That's why they call it G-Crack.
Yep.
And then of course we have the Z-Man Chatter Spike. It'll last you all day, last you all year if you don't break off. That goes really well on the back of a grass piece.
Can I make a side note?
Yep.
Whatever you do, don't put the G-Crack juice, like when we get them in the bottles and the spray, don't put that on Z-Man. I found that out the hard way.
It'll melt it.
It'll mount, like I put them on Ned rigs and kept the scent. It was great. I actually mixed it with some of the secret powder stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
then you
that
got one-
combination
Yeah.
created a lot of Ned rigs, and I had to pull them off piece by piece. I actually probably made those Ned rigs some of the best Neds I've ever thrown, but we were at Vermilion and they were breaking off too quick, and I was like, it wasn't worth it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Grass piece flex, my favorite chatterbait, not even close.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some coming in, so make sure you hop on some of those and get your choice of trailer for them. Just make sure it's something that we recommend that works on the back, because there's a lot of stuff that you throw it out there and it's just it doesn't really jive. But you can't go wrong with any of these options here. So
cool.
Great fishing in the weeds. That's what I found with it.
yeah.
Like compared to a jackhammer or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, It just swims through it.
And if you want to
through
just
it and it pops nicely too.
frustrate the heck out of your buddies catching 10 to 1, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's learned that before, huh?
We've experienced that.
We've got video evidence of that. Go check it out. It's on our Instagram. I might have to put that on our Facebook just so people can see the beatdown he put on you.
Yeah.
So they can chirp
on
you.
YouTube.
You can chirp me, but the thing is now I've bought in, so like they can chirp me, but they
put it on YouTube.
I'm doing it now.
Go viral with it. Minnow baits.
Yeah, I just have one
minnow
little hack with
We like hacks.
Elastec minnow baits, or I guess you could do it with other Elastec baits, but I usually do it with like Z2 or like jerk shad. So I just got a round head, ball head, and I got your Z2. So I go in just normally like you're gonna rig it, like you're gonna thread it through. I come out probably 1/4 inch out, go out so that it's the barb showing out. Then I go back in. You got to keep it straight. Then you go back in and finish it off. So now what this has is you've got your Elastec kind of stuck in there. Just lasts longer.
Make Elastec last even longer, huh?
Yeah.
What?
And I learned this because I like to use the super glue, but I didn't have any one day, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can just try that. I did it, and
I'm not a super glue fan, so this would help me a ton.
Yeah.
Do you do this just with these minnows, or
I do it just with the minnow, but you could probably do it with.
Like, could you put like a chatter spike on, one of these and do it?
I don't know why you couldn't.
We're gonna try some stuff this summer, huh?
So, it just has a little bit of the hook going through the plastic all the way. So then you really can't tug on it.
And it doesn't matter. So like when I rig up a minnow, I like them straight.
Yeah.
Perfect. Does it matter if it's a little kinked like that? I mean, they don't care.
I found as long as it's straight this way,
Yep.
it doesn't matter.
Noted, because that's one thing. That,
If it's not straight that way, it don't matter. Because they're looking from the bottom.
Yeah.
I think if it's kinked like to the side like that or something,
then it doesn't look right.
Then it ain't swimming.
So we just gotta overlook the fact that it's
kinked
just
forward and back.
It's in our mind, it's kinked, but in the fish's mind, they're like, I'm still gonna eat that. It looks like a minnow to me.
Yeah, and you can go in.
They think that much?
You can just barely go in so that it doesn't kink as much. But that's just a little something I do.
That's sneaky. That's gonna save somebody money, is the thing.
Yeah, or the pain of having to redo it every other couple fish.
Will it work on those?
This isn't really a tackle hack, but while we're on the subject of minnows, we just got the brand new Ignite Baits minnow. It's called...
It's the nicotine
minnow, and they pair them with their own levitator head, which has its own wings and allows this bait to roll from side to side even more. And I mean, you can see the tail just out of the bag; it goes nuts. This is probably one of our top selling minnow baits when we got them in.
We've been pushing a lot.
They've been crazy.
I don't even know why you're promoting them; they're selling themselves.
One thing I noticed about the nicotine minnow,
buy them.
Yeah.
The online photos we have of these do not do them justice. Like, these colors pop, they are bold, they're just wicked colors on these things. They do a really nice job with their colors.
You know what did do it justice though? That tank video. So go on our Instagram.
Yeah.
It's only like 2 or 3 videos back, maybe 5 by the time this comes out, but like there's tank video of this and you'll understand why guys are going crazy buying them.
Nicotine minnow. And it's a great size. It's a 4 1/4, nice and durable. Just really high quality stuff from the guys over to Ignite. We've got a restock of the 4 1/4 on the way. We've got 5 inches on the way, and then when they get their mold, we're gonna have the 7 incher on the way too. So keep on the lookout for.
We got the levitator heads too.
Yeah.
That pair up with it.
Yep.
Question: do you want to hear about stuff with blades or stuff without blades?
Yes.
Oh,
All of
both. All right, we'll start with the stuff with blades because guys have not jumped on these and they need to. This is the Bass Tricks Lure Co. Swing Flash. I like an underspin for a variety of different variations, tactics, techniques, smallmouth, largemouth, grass, non-grass, doesn't matter. And this just made life a lot easier. So a lot of times when I've done the underspin thing, it'll be like a belly-weighted underspin, or you'll have to figure out how to finagle one onto a Texas rig hook or something. But this is like an all-in-one apparatus. I'm going to hang it here for them to see. So it's a Texas rig hook with a split ring and the right jig head with an underspin on it. And what that's going to allow you to do...
I can see why they call it the Swing Flash. I had actually never opened one up before, but...
It's because you're just scared of underspins. I don't understand.
I've got plans for these.
Now you do. So, obviously, I'm going to go with the Bass Tricks paddle tail. These things are awesome. If you haven't checked these out, come get some.
We even got our custom color Waypoint Gale still in stock.
Yes, we do. And by spring, they'll be gone because either you guys are going to buy them or I am. Alright, so, a couple things when you rig this. You got to be careful because if you push this too far on the head like I just did, you will kill your action. What I mean by that is this is a pivot point. There's also a pivot point up top, but if you push this too far over the head, you won't get your second pivot point down here. What this allows it to do is allow the bait to swing freely and use its own action. In addition, if you look at the head, I'll show that to the people, it pushes out wide, which disperses water off to either side. Obviously, you're just going to rig the Texas rigs part of it the same. Now, I would not throw this rig in reeds, or you could probably get away with it in clean lily pads, but if it's got mixed vegetation, you're going to have a bad time. However, this thing skipped around docks. This thing thrown along weed edges, like inside and outside weed edges early in the spring. Throwing it in sparser, reed patches, in the gaps and the holes. That's going to draw a lot of strikes. One thing I like about this too is, okay, so the hook that's on there is really good. But Texas rig hooks, they get dull. Fish bite them. They run into things.
Just swap it out.
It's a super easy swap. It's just a split ring, just like if I'm changing treble hooks on a crankbait or something.
So as long as if you have the head, this thing will last you forever. I mean, just keep swapping. You can swap the hook probably based on your different size baits.
I mean, you could honestly switch out the blade if you need to. Although this looks like a really high quality blade, and they didn't go cheap on the split rings here. It looks like so they're the right ones. Although this split ring is coming off. That'll happen with any split ring, though. That's why they're split rings. Hold on. Fix it. Wow.
You got a lot going on with that thing.
Yeah. So, cool rigging option. For those of you who don't want to go with, the underspin style screw lock hook, because sometimes they pull out, this is another way to rig it. You could, I didn't do this, but if you are worried about it sliding down, you can put a Nico hack through the eyelet or a toothpick or something of that variety. So lots of cool options to do with that. So that reminder, that is a Bass Tricks Lure Co. Swing Flash. This one is a 1/4 ounce 3/0. Fits on the 5-inch really good. They have a bunch of different sizes.
I don't throw underspins enough, but this one would allow me to throw them wherever I want, whenever I want. And with whatever I want. I like this a lot. Yeah. I can see why you ordered these in now. Yeah.
I'm smarter than I look.
I got plans for these. I think we should all collectively speak about dice now.
Dice?
Rigging methods, your favorite, where you throw it.
Oh, you didn't even bring... Oh, you did bring it.
I brought
this is my favorite
all of our favorites. I know Willy's got a favorite. You just like the original, don't you? Or what's your favorite dice? Because you're kind of the sneaky smallmouth man.
I really only throw dice.
Original OSP.
OSP, yep. Drop shot. I've messed around with throwing a little nail in it, but OSP.
Just drop shot the OSP.
Yep, straight up.
Do you prefer salt, non-salt? Have you found it matters? Have you seen differences?
Not crazy. I like the non-salt.
I also like the non-salt. I think they're just a tad more durable. And like you say, most of the time if I'm throwing the OSP one, I'm drop shotting it. Yep. So I kind of like the pink package, the non-salt.
Yep.
That's the original. Everybody knows about the OSP, but it's not the original. The original is the field side dice, and then they went ahead and did a collab with OSP to make the OSP dice, which became really popular. But the field side dice, they are way softer.
Way softer.
Clearly a hand pour, handmade. I mean, this is the original.
Yep.
And these I found, you actually can throw these weightless, like on an 8-foot hair rod, and get them to cast quite far, and they sink on their own. But that's a super interesting one. This is actually the first iteration of dice ever is the field side. They've got 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter, and 14 millimeter, so a bunch of different sizes for different applications if you're drop shotting it, if you're throwing it weightless, and then that 14 millimeter allows you to actually put like a little 1/32 Nico weight in it. You want to check out the field side dice for sure.
Money.
One of our sneaky best sellers is the field. When we get the field side in, we've got a bunch right now. Next one to talk on, I think, would be the G-Crack Q-Bomb.
I love this thing,
We've got a bunch of those in stock now.
I mean, the obvious way to do it is obviously drop shot it.
Yep.
Power shot it, drop shot it, same difference. Everyone loves to do that, but what I like to do with it is it's a more aggressive version of the Nico rigged OSP dice or the field side dice because it's
Way
a slightly bigger profile.
Yeah, bigger profile.
You can throw a little bit more heavy of a weight. It's more durable. Even like look at that compared to each other. Let's hold that up real close here. Like
Field side versus Q-Bomb.
Q-Bomb.
Sphere, square, heavier, lighter.
And they made this dummy proof, guys. If you look at this, the bottom side is flat. That's where I stick my Nico. This top side has like a little bit of plastic that comes from the injection mold. It's not enough to rig it, but it is a good reference point to where the center point is. For when you put a Nico weight in the bottom, you can go ahead and either rig it right through the top or just off the top.
And that'll stick right in there, won't
it?
Yep.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like this is going right in the bottom. It sticks out a tiny bit at the bottom. You can barely tell it's in there.
You can still get a hook in it?
Absolutely. Take a Nico or a drop shot, but in this case a Nico. I went right through the top, and I might angle it. So there's the one way I do it, but what I usually do is I'll go off kilter a little bit. So right there. So that's off the side. And what that does is obviously I'm going to make a cast out there, and I'm going to have my line coming off at an angle this way. So this allows it to fall straight down. I've seen guys like go straight on the side for when they, like drop shot it. But if you're going to Nico it and cast it out there and stroll it back, which I know guys are doing that. I know specifically a few guys that are really, really good are doing it. Willy. That's the deal right there. So that's going to fall. It's going to fall butt down. It's going to keep your hook up, and it's going to bounce on the bottom.
Q-Bomb's easiest to get a Nico weight in it and rig it that way.
I also think it's the best one for largemouth, I guess is the best way to put it.
Like especially the 1.2.
I do think that's a great largemouth
Like
bait.
when we come out here on Minnetonka, like this is the one I reach for. If we're going somewhere like Mille Lacs or Leech for smallmouth, then I'll go and grab an OSP dice or this umbrella wire from Rains, which is pretty sick.
Umbrella wire.
Yeah, this thing.
No silicone hairs.
No
just
silicone.
Straight plastic.
You got plastic kind of tentacles.
All in one.
This thing does
form together.
Crazy stuff.
So both of these can be Yika rigged. I don't know how to pronounce it anymore.
That's why I brought this. This I match up with that umbrella wire.
That would do really good on the umbrella wire.
So this is a Decoy Zero Dan Worms 217 Jika rig.
Because it is a little bit small to be just regular Nico rigging it, right?
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
I think this is
That body's not very much.
This is the smallest.
Oh, the body. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
The body's the smallest cube that you can find in a dice bait. Like if the smallest field side is a 10 millimeter, this has got to be like a 6 or 8 millimeter.
Yeah, it's tiny.
But this is a number 1 Jika rig. Hook it right through the center, and then you can. That weight dangling there allows you to crawl on the bottom, and it'll sit up a little bit. Crazy creature bait when you do that with it, and just throw it on a regular 6'10", 7-foot medium spinning pole, drag it on the bottom. Smallmouth go crazy for this.
Yeah.
Other than that, you can definitely throw this weightless. It'll sink on its own. You can absolutely drop shot it.
Yeah. I mean, we put it in the tank with a really small Nico weight, right, Willy?
Yeah, we got like this tiny. We actually just
We broke a Nico
Broke
weight.
an eco weight in half.
broke
right?
an eco weight. I mean, you can barely even see it.
Yeah. But if you're trying
You
to
could
go
do a lot with
ultra
these. You can.
finesse,
This is one that we just cut down the arms on it, and they look really good.
Check out the umbrella wire and the worm 217 from Decoy.
umbrella wire is made by Reigns, correct?
Rains, yes.
Yep.
Decoy makes the hooks and the weights.
The last piece I wanted to just touch on again. We've talked about this before, but just in case some guys haven't seen it. Actually, there's 2 more I want to talk about.
Okay.
This is the Hide Up Koike Straight 140. Once you get it out of the box. Elastomer.
This stuff's flying everywhere.
Koike Elastomer Straight 140. One of the newer baits from Hide Up. It is elastomer as hell.
Oh yeah.
And what that allows you to do, obviously, drop shot this, Nico weight this, but I like to cut it down every couple appendages there. So it'll be about like that. And all of a sudden you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got 8 to 10 dice baits that you can make out of this bait that last you an entire season until a pike breaks you off. Little different appendages on this thing too. You can see they've just got a little bit of tickle vibration to them, different from the skirt material that puffs out. These just have insane, incredible vibrations to them. Highly recommend this dice for extremely pressured late season smallmouth, but also largemouth on weed edges. We went to a real pressured lake and catching 3 to 5 pounders on this, and I know I had you go out and do a testing session with this, and you were catching giant smallmouth on this, right?
Yep. So I cut off just so like that much.
Yeah.
And I had
every 2 appendages.
Yeah,
right?
every 2. I probably caught over 100 smallmouth this weekend. I never even took it off the drop
You
shot.
never take it off the hook. It just stays on.
and it just gets bit.
I mean, this bait for, I think these are like $26.
Yeah.
It's
about that.
It's over time, it's cheaper than buying a $19 pack of dice, because this will last you. This one should last you 2 entire seasons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not going to fully replace a dice, but it's another, like, when they're eating them good and you don't need like the ultra finesse ones.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to trigger bites either way, but I'm just saying, like, it's going to last longer.
Yep.
Like, if you're out on a weedland bite on one of these local lakes and you're just catching them hand over fist, you don't want to go through a pack of dice a day.
This is the color. This is the earthworm color. That's my favorite color for both largemouth and smallmouth.
Yeah.
We've got them right now. So check them out for sure. For sure, you want to check those out.
And after you cut them, just put them back in this.
And don't do the truck trick with that.
Yeah.
Do not let this sit in the sun. This will melt in the sun. It's like a greenhouse effect in there.
I was gonna say, this is like Z-Man plastic.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Greenhouse is for like frogs and stuff, like I said.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you got there?
Real quick on this one, Jackal makes the Jimmy Henge. Not a real popular one because it's not well known. It's got similar appendages to the Koike appendages where they're not the puffy silicone ones, they're real fine. But the Jackal Jimmy Henge, 100% of the time, I will throw this weightless on a Nico or a drop shot hook in the springtime when fish are up on beds, up spawning, up cruising around. And you throw it out there and you can twitch it back, and when you let go, it will spiral on the way down.
Bed fishing.
And it looks like a dying bug.
Okay, like when they hit the water and then they die. Yeah.
You'll throw it up on the bank and it'll like spiral down to. I mean, they crush those in the springtime. I haven't thrown it much in the summer. I haven't thrown it much in the fall because it's kind of primarily a weightless thing. But I wanted to highlight that because that is a super effective tool in the springtime if you're fishing around beds. So Jimmy Henge 42, check those out. You can absolutely throw this as far as you want with a medium light or a light, kind of a hair jig rod, 7/6. Check those out.
I got one more springtime trick I'll talk
All right, I like springtime tricks.
Swim jig trick. Multiple swim jig trick. Okay, so this is a greenfish swim jig, one of my favorites. I also like the untamed ones, but the untamed ones have what I would consider one of the best plastic keepers.
Yeah, the quad keeper.
But the problem with the quad keeper is unless you have like a vise, you can't add an extra skirt. Why would you want an extra skirt, guys?
I don't know. I've never put an extra skirt on anything.
Because you're trying to displace water, right? What are you trying to do with moving baits? You're trying to displace water and attract fish.
Yes.
Correct? So there's a couple ways to displace water. Trailer selection is one of them. Another one is to take an extra skirt. Now, there's a nuance to this, and I'll get to that. But
and that's the untamed skirt.
This is an untamed skirt, yes. But I didn't have a vise, so I'm going to use this. And you just take it and you slide it over the end. You got to push it up a little ways so you get enough room. Now, that doesn't look all that great, but if I take, and I'm going to trim a couple of these with my fingers. Yes, my hand. I'm Edward Scissorhands. And I'm ripping these on purpose. I would rip them in the boat too, because what happens is the more like ragged you can make this thing look in the water, the more bulk it has and the more flash it'll get. So I'll even take the outer skirt and rip a couple off so that they kind of intermingle there. One more here. So now you can see some of the skirt underneath. It gets a little bit of contrast in there, and it's a really wide profile. I do this in the spring and in the fall. In the spring, I'll use like a 3/8 or a quarter and do this, which allows it to stay up in the water column because the fish are shallower. In the fall, I'll use like a 1/2 ounce, like the untamed one, or Greenfish makes a 1/2 ounce. That's really good. I like both of those swim jigs. They both have good hooks. They also both have a wide head because I like to throw them up in reeds and lily pads. And you'll notice on this one, it's got a fatter head and it deflects off of that cover better. So I can still do my heavy cover tricks with this. I can still throw this. And I'll select like a swammer from X Zone. This is the 4-inch swammer. And okay, so this is the other thing. Guys will trim this. They'll like cut it down to here. I want the whole head because I want the water to come around it the right way. You don't get the action that you're looking for as well if you cut this off because you've created a flat surface and now the water is going to go sideways and not over the body the correct way. So it does create a little bit longer of a trailer, but I believe that the action makes them commit well enough that it's worth creating such a big profile. So now here I am, got it just over the keeper. This is not straight. Let's make it straight. So now I've got a couple things out of this jig. It can pass as a crappie and a bluegill. It's got a wider body. I've created a trailer that creates more action, so it's going to make this all this extra skirt material dance more. And I've also made it a little ragged like this. You can see like where I pulled it out is sticking out, which is also adding to the bulk. So I'll go ahead and rock with that all spring up until about June.
Noted.
Ross just totally changed the swim jig game right here. Here you go, have fun.
Yeah, the double
This is mine
skirt.
now.
Yeah, all right. Well, then I want this one and this one. So yeah, that's the last hack that I'm going to use today. I've got others in the back pocket we're going to hold on to for later.
I think there's only one more. I think
we'll keep it for the next time.
We'll keep it for the next
Unless
time?
of this one.
No, I was going to touch on some new arrivals.
Yeah, we should talk about some new arrivals. And oh, dude, the sweatshirt.
That's what I was going to talk about.
And the
Got some new merch.
We have the word is bass / what's the word at Waypoint, so we had to make bass is the word bass hats. These are on our website, waypointanglersupply.com. The word is bass edition Richardson 112 hats are in. They're awesome. They're comfortable. I love mine. I wear it all day. So snatch you up some of those. They are on sale along with the brand new 2.0 edition. The 2.0 JDM Sunrise hoodies from Fin and Fur Design collaboration. Big Waypoint logo on the front. Big sunrise on the back. This was our #1 selling hoodie last year. We changed it up a little bit. And they're already selling like crazy. Again, they're on sale right now. Go to waypointanglersupply.com and type in JDM Sunrise Hoodie 2.0. Got a bunch of different sizes, and I love that design.
And they're on neutrally branded blanks. So those of you with apparel sponsors and whatnot who want to rep Waypoint, these are for you, because there's no
really
Sims or Blackfish or Striker or FXR on these. So
really comfortable, high quality hoodies. We're impressed with those. New items coming in soon. We got a restock of grass pieces, both original and flex. We just released a video of these, and if you haven't seen it, go to our Instagram and look at
those are sick.
And our Facebook page and check out the Quakey Thunder video. This is going to be a game changer for next year. Weightless fishing in the spring around cover, around timber. You're going to want to throw it on a Ned head. You're going to want to definitely be drop shot or power shotting this. It fits real nicely on a 1/0 EWG hook. The key feature of this bait is when you rig it weightless, it sits perfectly horizontal and corrects itself. If you're twitching it, it'll correct itself and just shimmy like that on the way down. It's impressive.
The video we got makes
the video
awesome.
does it justice. Hard bait to look at in person and go, well, that's cool. When you see our video, it's going to want to make you buy some. We've got 6 colors of them right now, and we've got a bunch more coming. So go to waypointanglersupply.com and check out the new Hide Up Koike Thunder. They are awesome, I promise. You'll love them. Other than that, we're going to think of the next episode of...
It might be holiday
What's
gift
the word?
ideas.
It might be holiday gift guide. It might be Secret Santa. Might be a little bit of this. Might be a little bit of that.
Yeah.
You can absolutely drop a comment and let us know what you'd like us to talk about. We've already had a couple ideas come in there, and we've been concocting some of that together. Other than that, I think we're going to go ahead and... This is all mine now.
Wait.
And
I want my frog. It's got to go marinate.
Keep an eye out for...
Did you... Oh, sick. You left the jig.
Keep an eye out for episode 3.
Signing off.
Check us out at Waypoint English Supply and waypointanglersupply.com.
Skull.
Go Pack, go.
Oh, God, I'm cutting that.